Hello there, and welcome to a new video for Dwarf Fortress of mine. In this one, I'm going to go over what you can do with these pesky forgotten beasts, except for just flat out murdering them or entrapping them forever. So I have a few things that are outright useful, a few things that are just for the sake of entertainment, and I think we should better get started. So number one on my list here is actually what you see here on the screen. It's what I call the monster disposal service. So I love cage traps. A lot of people love cage traps, but cage traps also have one downside. You end up with lots of creatures in those cages, and therefore what I did here was I entrapped a forgotten beast into this chamber, dug a hole up there, and now we have a pit zone looking like that, and now I can just pick up whatever is sitting in my cages and tell my people to just feed it to the monster in the pit. Just be careful that you don't dump down any stuff that can't fly, and don't use as a pit monster any monster that can't fly itself. So make sure the forgotten beast you're using as a pit service is not something flying. Also very important when you do this, the hole cannot be adjacent to a wall, otherwise you provoke that thing to climb up. So make sure that the hole is surrounded by black squares, just like here. The position where my cursor is at is where the monster Z's are going to get dumped into the pit. So this is a pretty cool system because I just need to go upstairs, flick a few check marks into that list, and a few minutes later, all that stuff that's convoluting my cages up here will get flung down there, and it's pretty sweet. Just like I said, take care that nothing flying gets into the pit and nothing flying is utilized as that. Okay, number two is what I call cavern cleaning services. So here's a wonderful example of what I did there. So this fella here is a deadly dust emitter. You know, deadly dust emitters are among these guys. I really hate to fight them because most of the time your dudes will outright die or die afterwards or have contagious stuff on them. So these are perfect candidates for this. So I just use this bridge, which is linked to a lever here, and whenever there's something in the caverns which is just too much, I just open the gates and use this guy as kind of cavern cleaner. So you open that bridge, they will get out, they will murder whatever is convoluting your caverns, and then you can close the system again for cleaning purposes, and then you just chain up something as an offering again, you know, whatever you see fit. I personally recommend you for this sort of cavern cleaning service to have several chains, so the monster has a few more to munch on, and then you just, once you have your decoys in place, you lower the bridge again, open the system again, open a direct connection to your fortress, and the monster will come. But it will first nibble on the creatures that you have put up as a decoy offering, and then all you need to do is close the doors quickly enough, especially the one it could escape out of. I have the levers here, walled off because of gremlins, you know. Never let those gremlins near to your containment cells. Really, it can't spell doom. And yeah, that's how I would do it. So whenever there's anything I don't want to kill, like a invasion of 50 to 100 critters that would just overwhelm my military, just flick the switch, let the hoover out, and have fun with it. I really love this because you can easily get them in and out of the box once you know how the monsters behave. Number three, use it as a web farm. So I put up a little bit of an example how I would use it. So here, oh, I have one little thing that I forgot. Here must be a wall. So monster enters here. You can use chains and whatnots, the same methods that we used up here. And the web spitting monster, it has to be a web spitting monster, goes in here, and once it is trapped in there, you lock the door and you flick the switch to open to keep it in there. And as you see here, these are all fortifications. Next step, you chain up some critters here and here, and the web spitting monster will run around and spit webs 24/7 at these. And when you want to come for the harvest, you use those bridges, flick them up, because you want to shut down the line of sight between the monster and your people. They might freak out and get web spit to no end. And then you can harvest the zone. Bonus points, you can also put up cage traps left and right to that and get webbed cage traps. This is a very, very, how to say, simple system. I think you can make it much better. I just mocked up something that would 100% work. It ain't optimized, but it would work. Probably needs a little bit more room for the entrance area. Maybe I made that too short. But as you see up here, we could easily make that snake larger. So, number 4, and that's more for the entertainment thing. Make a monster arena, you know? You could easily just link that guy to that guy, and eventually link that guy's prison to that guy's prison, and when you're freaking bored, you just flick some switches, lower some bridges, and make sure they can have a common ground where they can meet and greet. And, you know, your dwarfs may set up bets who's living and who's not living. In short, the monster arena is a good ways and means to lower your total count of forgotten beasts, you know, because if you want to, you can avoid any direct confrontation with forgotten beasts whatsoever. It's really no problem. But you can also just entrap them and pit them together in nice, comfy pit fights. And number 5 on the list is the last one, and this is a little bit of a spoiler-heavy thing, so if you don't want spoilers, turn off. There were only 4 things on this list. As number 5 thing, well, you know, when you dug deep enough, you will ultimately reach the circus. And, you know, you can, instead of pitting the monsters together against each other, feed them to the clowns. This has 2 purposes. For one, you can see how strong your forgotten beasts really are. And for another thing, this is an easy way to get rid of them. Because honestly, if you dump anything into the underworld, they're not going to clean that place for good, because there will be respawns of clowns forever. So there will be always something that will beat your forgotten beasts, but you could use them as a scouting, as a way of scouting the underworld and having some fun with it. But number 4 and 5 on this list are really not about utilizing the monsters, but more about how to get rid of them safely. Because, you know, it is easy to have one very contained entrance to the circus, so you can just pipe in monsters that you want to get rid of and be sure that they will find a cool end, and you can find out how powerful they really, really were. So, with that all being said, these were 5 things that you can do with your forgotten beasts. Feel free to leave me your things that you do with your forgotten beasts at home, because I'm pretty sure there are way more than 5 things that you can do with them. I'd be really, really eager to hear about it. Maybe there will be even a part 2 of this video, who knows? I'm really, really happy to hear from you folks. Leave a thumbs up to make it more visible to everybody else, and consider subscribing if you want to support the channel. That's the cheapest and easiest way to do. A lot of other Dwarf Fortress content playlist links are in the description box. You don't need to fret, just check out one of those playlists and have fun with it. Either way, I thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed it, and see you soon.